I love the way my body's moving to the beat.
Meenakshi Shedde. I'm here at the Berlinale Palast of the Berlin Film Festival with a super team of In the Belly of the Tiger. This is director Siddartha Jatla. This is Sharada, the producer. Another fantastic producer, Esther from China.
Thank you.
This is one crazy international co-production with 7 teams on board from 7 countries. Very unusual. Tell us what it feels like to be in Berlin with your second film. His first film was Love Shukla, which really went all over the place and I think drew a lot of attention and supporters for his second film. But tell us a little about the film itself and what it feels like to be here at Berlin for the first time.
I'm really happy to be in Berlin Film Festival and especially in this wonderful crowd, and as you guys can see, such a brilliant location. And In the Belly of a Tiger is all about it's about an elderly couple who have to decide on one single night who among them will go into the forest to get killed by the tiger for the government compensation. But what transcends into a surreal night is the film all about, and all guys have to come and see it. And I have got these wonderful producers with me on board, and I'm so glad to be here in Berlin.
So lovely. Esther, this is not very often that we have an Indo-Chinese co-production. It's quite rare, although we are 2 huge industries next to each other.
Yes, exactly.
It's ridiculous that we haven't collaborated for 100 years. So thank you for making the effort and supporting this. Tell us how your connection with Siddartha Jatla happened.
Actually, the first time I met Siddartha is in the 2018. His first film was in Shanghai Film Festival. That's why we met. I saw his first film, so we became friends, and then we are here finally in Berlin.
Lovely.
Yeah.
What was it that appealed about his film to you? About this one? What appealed about this new project, In the Belly of the Tiger, to you? Why did you like it?
I think this is a really honest story, and it's all about the hope and love. And also, as you mentioned, India and China is rare to see our 2 countries co-produce of such a film. But I think this film proved movies and love brought us together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yes.
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
That is beautiful. So, as Siddarth said, the film is about a very poor family living somewhere in North India that's really desperately poor, and where one of the older people, the grandfather in the family, decides to get eaten by a tiger, or for himself to be eaten by a tiger, so his family can live off the government compensation. So this is like a brutality of the extreme order, and yet there is so much love and faith and hope in the film. I wanted to ask you, as someone who's an Indian living in the Indian origin living in the US, were you concerned about elements of course it is showing poverty, but it's showing it in a very dignified way, and were you concerned about that balance?
No, not at all. Actually, no, not at all. Because this movie definitely has a personal connection to me. Because
Louder, we can't hear you at all.
Yeah.
Louder.
Yeah, sorry, louder. Sorry about that. Is this okay? Okay. So this movie definitely has a personal connection to me. What I love about this movie is that, irrespective of the economic cadre you are in, whatever class you are, there is a family, there are relationships in between, there are sweet nothings, and then normally we just we tend to ignore who are not out of our class, especially, let's say, for example, I come from a middle class or higher middle class, but we often tend to ignore how what goes into the lives of people who are really struggling. Actually, I see these kids on the street, and then I really do not know what's their story and then what's going behind them. And then what I feel is that every life is important, and then this definitely is not exactly to say something, but this exactly portrays what is actually happening in their lives, and this definitely gives the audience insight into normally we just ignore or blindsided.
How did you connect with Siddarth?
Okay, Siddarth. Okay, that's a very good story. I did watch Siddarth's Love and Shukla, and then
Where did you watch it?
I did watch it on Netflix.
On Netflix. How cool
Yes,
is that?
yeah. And then and then kudos to social media, and then that's how I reached him. out, and then I was really impressed.
On Instagram.
Yeah, not on Instagram, on Facebook.
Okay, wow.
And then what impressed me is the characterization, the way his characters are etched in Love and Shukla. Truly, it means a lot to me, because I always stand for people who really does things with which means something to them, rather than just putting together props.
Yeah.
Right? I really loved that in him, and then we connected, and then I am involved in this project right from the plot point, scripting stage itself, and then this means a lot to me. Yep.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask, so for me the film is very much about humanity, but it is a devastating critique of capitalism from start to finish. It's devastating, and yet for me there's a very fundamental irony of people who are deeply exploited and who handed little crumbs, and they're saying, oh my baap, we got rice to eat, or something. You're being happy with small crumbs, whereas the rich are just getting richer and fatter. And it's in that delicate space in between. Shouldn't they be having a revolt and demanding basic stuff? And yet there is this gratitude and a fatalism. Mama, my destiny is like this. Did any of this trouble you, or were you working through all these issues while you were, I think, there for a year and a half or 2 years at these villages spending time? Did you all thrash out all these issues? Did it trouble you?
Well, my stay in the area there, it did trouble me, whatever you're talking about.
It started with a news report.
Yeah, it started out with a news report where, I saw that, an elderly couple are being sent into the forest to get killed by the tiger. So that really shocked me. I saw it on Facebook. But when I went to the villages, and I do not want to mention the name of the village because of the sensitivity of the families who have suffered. But when I went to those villages and saw the people, I felt, I think a tiger was just a metaphor, and it's really not true, that incident. But I found more problems like poverty, education, and also alcoholism. That was the major problem in the villages. So this is what I wanted to address. Of course, there were some very, very painful moments what I have come across when I was through my journey of 1.5 years. But what I felt was humanity is the only one medicine which can abolish all this thing. Of course, the powerful will always exploit the powerless everywhere, irrespective of any place, any surroundings. But I do believe that humanity is the one thing which can save all of us, and that's the message of the film we have brought across.
Esther, you wanted to add to it, please?
Yeah, definitely. So, I definitely echo with what Siddarth had said, but also, right, in villages or anywhere, right, it's like their life is rightly depicted in the movie, it has taken from their lives actually. So, there is hope, and then there is also certain kind of escapism where, okay, today, I do.
Elements in the film. Is that what you're referring to?
No, it's not that. I do tend to see certain families, right, when they have 10 rupees to spend. Normally, I did notice that people would spend at least 5 rupees for their entertainment.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So, and then also, that's how this is just depicting as they are, but also. Even God will help you if you help yourself.
Exactly.
That's exactly what this character helping another family to come out of that situation. We have to help, and then there are 2 ways that you can get ahead. You have to either completely succumb to the God, or you have to help yourself, committed to that.
Very true.
So that's what this means to me. And then also the kids in the movie, especially the women, they are hardworking, and then they are if they are set their mind, and then there is so much talent and there is so much beauty in them that that needs to come out, and then they need the support. Yeah. So that's what exactly this is. Yep.
I wanted to ask you, this is very, very tough dealing with, first of all, mainly non-actors, and then kids who are quite an important part of the film and their innocence. How on earth did you get that in a place that you don't really know? You're from South India, originally from Hyderabad, living in Bombay, and this is somewhere in North India. I'm assuming there may have been some level of a language problem at some level, but also non-actors in the village who probably may not be familiar with this at all. What were your challenges getting them? They did really, there was some kind of purity because it wasn't polished. It had a purity because of that. So how did you manage that?
Like you said, I'm from South India, so, thanks to Mumbai, my staying in Mumbai for 10 years, I kind of developed my Hindi. But yes, of course, when you go to North India, there are so pro, but I could manage it. But I also feel that because of my staying over there for a couple of months or a year, more than a year, and developing that sweet friendship which we have developed, and especially the kids, you have to develop it. You have to spend some time with those kids to get out that performance from them. So I think maybe love transcends everything. So that's the reason why I could manage it. Yeah.
That is beautiful. I wanted to also say, Esther, sitting when you're based in Shanghai, looking at Indian cinema in general, it's usually Bollywood that dominates. There are some regional cinemas or some big ones or some Amir Khan films or this Three Idiots, some exceptional ones that go through. But I would imagine very few Indian films are theatrically released in China.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
5, 10,
Exactly.
if at all. Very rare, right?
Exactly.
So, what is your impression of Indian cinema in general? And second question is, how do you imagine this film might be? Because if you're a producer from China, I'm assuming you would be interested that hopefully it will get a release or in some way on streaming or theatrical or whatever. So tell us your views of, as a Chinese person, what do you imagine? What are your views of Indian cinema in general? And what is the appeal of this film to a Chinese audience?
Okay.
Yeah.
So to ordinary Chinese audience, Bollywood is the most famous type of the film of India. Who can stand for India? But to me, it's different because I have watched a lot of Indian film at all kinds of Chinese film festivals. So I know Bollywood cannot stand for the whole Indian
Sure.
film. Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, exactly. You
Thank you.
know that's before pandemic, and after pandemic, I noticed a lot of South Indian films. It's also popular in China, like RRR. It's going crazy.
Yeah.
And also we have a lot of Chinese fans, Chinese Indian films fans in China.
Chinese Indian funds in China.
Sorry, Chinese Indian films fans.
Okay. Who's putting money in it?
No, not fans. Fans. We are
Fans. Of
Fans.
course. Oh,
I'm
yes.
sorry.
Oh, yes, understood. Sorry. I
Fans.
apologize.
Yeah. We love all these
Yeah.
kind of films. And,
But they like the Bollywood stuff.
not only that. We know
Okay.
there are many different kinds of Indian films there. So this is. I would say it's not a small group, it's a big group of Chinese Indian films fans.
Okay.
And they know all the kinds of Indian films.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, we have our own way to
Okay.
watch these films.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Kantara is doing very well there. Kantara is doing very well there.
Kantara,
Oh, wow.
yeah, Kantara.
That's amazing.
RRR, and also, what's the latest?
Pushpa.
Pushpa, yes,
Oh, wow.
and Shah Rukh Khan's film.
She's American.
Yes.
What on earth is she doing collaborating with in this really not even a masala film, not even an Indian general, but so specific local film? Tell us about her contribution to the writing and generally to the development of this film.
So Amanda is an American, yes, like rightly put.
Where is she from?
She's from Maine, very far off in the America, far north. But I do believe that human emotions are everywhere across the world, and she's been partnered with me, and we have both developed Love and Shukla, our first film, also together. So our collaboration has been for a long time. We have been together for a long time, and more than that, human emotions are something where either it is in Ireland. That's why foreign language films are such a big success, right? We can relate to characters somewhere which are happening. Like I saw this Compartment Number 6 or 9, that film. I found those from Siberia, from those two people are Returned to Dust, a Chinese film where about two farmers. So that's the power of foreign language films, and how you can relate yourself to different cultures, because human emotions are the same.
Tell me about, because Love and Shukla was your first film, and because it did so well internationally at festivals, it was released at many places. Tell me how the economics worked, like to continue your life as your career as a filmmaker. Were you able to recover? Were you able to make profit? Because it's again non-masala, but so delicate, so thoughtful, and I can see your career is moving along that path. How does the economics work?
Economically, that film made wonders, because I made the film in $15,000. That's a very yeah, and I shot it in 10 days, and finally I traveled to 35 countries and sold it to Netflix. And just recently I ended my contract with Netflix, and now Ajay Devgan's and Kumar Mangat's team has bought the film, all rights. Panorama Pictures has bought it. So I know
Bollywood is looking at indie stuff. How cool is that?
So that way, and I would like to thank Rajat especially from Panorama Pictures, who has really helped me to sell the film over there, and that's how I made it well, and that's how the career has transferred.
In other words, were you able to more than recover your budget?
Absolutely, I made profit on the film, and then blessings by the producers of this film also, who have continuously supported, because this was a very long process, and it continued. The pre-production took almost 1.5 to 2 years. I think this could be for this film.
Yes, and during COVID, right?
Yes. I think this could be, if you calculate, one of the most expensive pre-production films in independent cinema. It costed us a lot. We had to be there in the village, and travel, stay there. It's a lot of people involved. So thanks to my producers also. Yes.
And also, I think also your daughter. I ran into your daughter. There was a wonderful, very warm reception last night to its premiere at the beautiful Delphi Cinema in Berlin, and the whole cast and crew were there. Also her, and also her daughter from Hawaii. I didn't know she was her daughter, and she said, "Oh, I'm also a producer." And I said, "How did you connect?" She said, "Via Instagram." I said, "What?" So this is the new model of filmmaking that's happening, that's bypassing all the traditional routes, and people who fall in love. She saw the film on Netflix and produced. Exactly. She ran into him at Shanghai. So it's not like he went to a producer's lab and found any of these. He's getting messages on Facebook and Instagram. Producers are reaching out, and he's actually made money with a practically low budget film, his first one, and I think there's a lot of hope for independent filmmaking when we hear your experiences and the kind of people who will back this kind of non-masala but full of heart and something sensitive to say, which gives you something to think afterwards. And Bollywood is supporting it, Netflix supporting it all over the world. 7 producers internationally. I think that's a very good sign of the rude health of independent Indian cinema. Thank you very much. All the very best for Berlin and onwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I love the way